Good morning, everybody. Mr. Nolan's back again. Today I have decided to create a video for our Unit 7 test, which is coming up on Thursday and Friday. Now, the test will count as 3 different test grades. The first section of the test will be prime factorization. The second part of the test will be Pemdas, which is known as order of operations. And the third part of the test is what we learned yesterday. It is straight vocabulary. And does anyone remember what the vocabulary was called? Anybody? Anybody? Alright, so the vocabulary we covered yesterday was properties. Okay, that's where we had the 5 properties. We had commutative property, associative property, identity property, the inverse property, and distributive property. Now, on this video I'm making right now, I'm just going to go through the first 2 sections that'll be on the test. So I'm going to go through prime factorization, and I'm going to go through order of ops. Now, I sent a link, or not a link, I uploaded my notes yesterday to Google Classroom. That way, when you get to the properties, guys, you have to just memorize those 5 properties. So I'm not going to go through that with y'all. Alright, so let's start with prime factorization. 2 key things. We are dealing with prime numbers. Now remember, prime numbers are numbers that can only be multiplied by 1 in itself. For example, 3 is a prime number because its factors are only 1 and 3. So I gave an example. 1 times 3 is 3. 5 is also a prime number because 1 times 5 equals 5. It's its only factors. Now, composite numbers have more than 2 factors. For example, 4 is a composite number because its factors are 1, 2, and 4. 1 times 4 gave me 4, and 2 times 2 also gave me 4. So those are composite numbers. Okay, so we're going to flip to the front. These are some examples that we did in class, depending on how we did with our flex grouping. So some of y'all might have seen this paper, some of y'all might not have. Okay, so find the prime factorization of the following numbers. Circle whether the number is prime or composite. So we'll do that at the end. The way we teach our kids to do prime factorization is we do a factor tree. Now, the first step is where most students go wrong. They try and get 2 numbers to add to the top one. No, you are multiplying. So give me 2 numbers that can multiply to give you 75. Now, there are more than one answer on this if you want. Some of y'all might say 5 and 15. I'm not going to do 5 and 15. I see 25 and 3. So there's 3 quarters make 75 cents. Well, 3 is a prime number that's as low as it goes, so I'm going to circle it. Is 5 a prime number? No, it's not. What multiplies to give you 25? Well, 5 times 5. Well, 5 is a prime number, so I'm going to circle it. And this is also a prime number, so I'm going to circle it. Now notice, I have circled all prime numbers that's as low as it goes. So we are done. Okay. So now what if I ask you to put this in factored form? So factor form would be just everything that you circled. So 3 times 5 times 5. Now notice on this factored form, what did I do? I went from least to greatest. Least to greatest. That would be your answer in factored form. Now what if I ask for exponential form? Well, I have a 3. How many 3's do I have? Well, I have 1. So do I need to put an exponent of 1 here? No. It's already assumed there's a 1 there. What else do I have? Well, I have a 5. Okay. How many 5s do I have? Well, you get 2 of them. So there I have to put an exponent of 2. And there's your exponential form. Okay. Now we're going to go back to the top. Is this a prime number or a composite number? Remember, a prime number can only be multiplied by 1 and itself. So this one has more than 2 factors, so it is a composite number. 75 is a composite number. Okay, I'm going to let you try 27. Let's look at 19. Factor tree. What multiplies to give you 19? Well, that's just 1 times 19. Well, knowing that these are the only 2 factors that we have, we know that this number is a prime number. 19 is prime. So now if I want this in factored form, it would just be 1 times 19. Exponential form. Same thing. It's just 1 times 19. So there you go. You went from standard to the factor tree. Let's say this again. You went from standard form to doing the factor tree to getting the factored form and the exponential form. So I'm going to let you all try those 2 on your own. Guys, if you don't have this paper, then just try it on a separate sheet of paper. Get out a blank piece of paper and try those. It can't hurt you. Alright, now it says find the standard slash simplest form for the following prime factorizations. So here we go. We have our factored form. What it wants us to do is to multiply it out to get our standard form. So here we go. I have a 2 times, I have a base 3, but how many 3s should I have? I should have 2 of them. And then I also have a 5. Okay, well, let's try this. It does not matter which order you multiply it. It does not matter. So I'm going to actually start with my bigger numbers here because I think they're easier, in my opinion. Well, we know 5 times 3 is 15. Notice I'm bringing down the 2 and the 3. This 3 looks pretty ugly here. There we are. Now I can multiply 2 times 15, which is 30, and I still have that 3. So what is 30 times 3? 90. Now I did this a little bit awkwardly. Some of y'all might just do 2 times 3 and get 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 times 5 and you get 90. It's the same exact thing. It does not matter which order you multiply. You will get the same answer. Okay. I'll try one more with y'all. I'm going to try, I'll try number 7. So I have a 2. I only have one of those. And then I have a 5. But how many 5s should I have? I should have 2 5s. Okay. Well, what's 2 times 5? Well, that's 10. And then what's 10 times 5? Well, that's 50. Okay. So guys, you will have to do this on your test. You will have to use the factor tree to get a factored form and an exponential form. You will also have to go and get the standard slash simplest form. Now there's a word problem here on the bottom. David thinks that the prime factorization of 90 is 3 squared times 5 times 2. But Matt thinks the prime factorization of 90 is 2 to the power of 3 times 5 times 2. Who is correct and why? Well, guys, all of these are very similar to test questions, the ones I left blank. Why don't you try those? Again, it can't hurt you. See what you got. And then once you finish it, come bring it to me, and I'll let you know tomorrow how you did on it. Alright, so now I'm going to move on to the second part of the test, which is order of operations. We also know it as Pemdas. Okay, the P stands for my parentheses. The E is my exponents. Now y'all are going to say multiply then divide. No. It's multiply or divide, whichever comes first from left to right. So multiply or divide, whichever comes first from left to right. Then you have your add or subtract. Same thing, it's whatever comes first from left to right. Okay, so there is Pemdas. Let's see if we can do a few examples here. Okay, I'm going to flip to the front. Again, this is something that we did in class based on how you did with flexible grouping. Alright, so if you look at number 5 here, notice it is in factored form. Well, sorry, not factored form, it's in a fraction form. Fraction. So if it's in fraction form, we're going to have to do everything in the numerator, also known as on top, first. Okay? Do you see any parentheses up top? No. So our P is now gone. I'm going to go ahead and write this, Pemdas, up here. Okay, so there's no P for parentheses. What about E for exponents? Do y'all see any exponents? Well, yes, there are. There's exponents right here. Okay. Now, whenever I do order of operations, I'm going to go step by step. So some of the stuff I'm going to be rewriting, but it helps me organize the material. I can't say it any easier. Go step by step. Have I touched that 4? No, I have not. Have I touched that multiplication sign? No, I have not. So I'm bringing both of those down. Y'all just told me 5 squared. So 5 times 5 is 25. I didn't touch the divide. And I didn't touch the 2. So that was my first step, was just the exponents. Now, multiply or divide, whichever comes first. But remember, since it is in fraction form, you must do the numerator first. So what is 25 times 4? Well, that's 100. I didn't touch the divide by 2, so bring it down. Well, what is 100 divided by 2? Well, that's just 50. There's your answer. Nice and easy there. Alright, let's look at number 6. Start with your P. Are there any parentheses? Well, yes, there are. They're right here. Okay. Since there are parentheses, you have to do the math that's involved inside of it. So did I touch that 39? I have not touched the 39 yet, so I'm bringing it down. I'm still going to open up my parentheses, but let's do the work. What is 15 divided by 3? Well, that's just 5. So now I did the work inside the parentheses. Let's go ahead and close it. Minus 16. Okay. Now the next step says multiply or divide, whichever comes first from left to right. Well, look at here. Do y'all see how this number 39 is directly attached to this parentheses? This is one of our vocabulary words. We're going to have to use the distributive property. When you use the distributive property, that means you are going to multiply. So what is 39 times 5? Well, I'm going to come do it off to the side here, because I don't know that one in my head right now. It's too early. 9 times 5 is 45. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 4 is 19. So 39 times 5 is 195. And I still haven't touched the minus 16, so bring it down. What is 195 minus 16? Well, when you do that math, you should get 179. That is your answer. Okay, I'm going to do one more with y'all, and I'm going to leave y'all for 3 to do on your own. Again, it's just good practice. Let's try number 8. Okay, so we start with parentheses, so we have to do the work inside the parentheses first. Have I touched that 2? No, it's on the outside, so bring it down. Open your parentheses. Now, I can't do 6 squared minus 15. Notice since I have an exponent on the inside, I'm going to do that first. So what is 6 squared? What is 6 times 6? Well, that is 36. Bring down the minus 15. Close your parentheses. And plus 11. So that was the first step inside the parentheses. I got rid of the exponent. Now, do I still have work inside the parentheses? Yes, I do. It's right there. So we're still going to have to do the work inside the parentheses. So again, I haven't touched the 2. I haven't touched the open the parentheses. What is 36 minus 15? Well, that's just 21. Close your parentheses plus 11. Well, again, if you notice, this 2 is now directly attached to this parentheses. So what does that mean? Distribute. Multiply. So what is 2 times 21? Well, that's 42. Bring down to plus 11. 42 plus 11 is 53. Okay. Now I'm going to see if I can create one real fast. And this is just going to be off the top of my head. Because there's a very similar test question. I mean, nowhere close to these numbers, but it's similar. In the sense of, do you see any parentheses? Well, no, there's no parentheses. Do you see any exponents? No, there's no exponents. So the next step is multiply or divide whichever comes first from left to right. Most people see the M in Pemdas, so they say multiply is next. Well, let's check. Start on the left and continue to the right so you get to division or multiplication first. Well, look at that. We have a division right off the bat, don't we? You must do the division first. So I didn't touch the 4. I didn't touch the minus sign. What is 8 divided by 2? Well, that's just 4. Bring down the times 3 and the plus 6. Well, now I can do my multiplication. So what is 4 times 3? Well, that's just 12. So have I touched that 4? No, I have not. Have I touched the minus sign? No, I have not. Have I touched the plus 6? No, I have not. Now I'm going to rewrite this right up here. Now it says add or subtract whichever comes first from left to right. So right here we have a subtraction. What is 4 take away 12? Well, 4 take away 12 is negative 8. Bring down the plus 6. Okay. Well, last step. What is negative 8 increased by 6? Well, negative 8 increased by 6 is just -2. Alright. Well, guys, I know this is a long video, but it went through two things. It went through prime factorization, which is the first part of your test. It went through Pemdas, which is your order of operations, your second part of your test. Again, the third part of your test is your properties. And if you're in my class, I posted these notes. I believe Miss Likes and Miss Alvarez might have posted it. If not, I'll ask them to do that today. Okay. So you have to memorize these properties for your test. I'm not making a video on properties. Alright guys, I hope this video helps. I mean, it's 21 minutes long. It's a good little video for you. Alright guys, have a good day. Bye.